All right, it's time to start modifying the water system. If you know what this is for, please leave it down in the comments, because I don't quite know it. I mean, it definitely looks like there was something right there. Let me try to point to it right there, which leads me to believe that this was some sort of gauge or some kind of indicator of some sort. But this thing's fairly large. I think it's like over 8 inches across. So if you could see right there, there's a tab, and then there's like a hump, and then a tab, and then a hump, and then a tab, and then a hump. So I need to try to get all this flat so that it fits against the wall nice and flat. I think that this is going to add a nice aesthetic in here, just something different. So hopefully it's not worth $1 million or something super rare, but I got it for dirt cheap. So all right, so we're going to start modifying this. We got to chop off all of these little tang things. I don't know what they are. And then we're going to try to get rid of all these humps. So that's what we're going to try to do now. We're probably going to use multiple tools. We'll probably use this to cut off those. And then I have an idea for the other. All right, so let's try that. There's my lip.
I hate so much about that.
Oh, you wonder how I get a strong grip now, huh?
No. Never wondered that before. But...
All right, so we got this all nice and cut down. I sanded it a lot so that it actually fits pretty nice. I found these. This is a hose fitting. It's a bulkhead fitting. So it comes with a nice little brass cap. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna unscrew this. We're going to drill out this diameter, come in from the back. So then when we're not filling this up, all you're gonna see is that, which I think will look cool. And then in the back, we have a 1/2 inch nipple, and that'll screw into there. But when we're at a campground, needing to fill up when we're not using the dehumidifier, I found these. Now, these are pretty cool because they're the same connection from the Blue technology. I'll have a link in the description. So this should integrate with our Blue filter system and that hose that we have. So when we get there, we can easily screw that on and then connect our hose directly to this, fill it up. So what the point of this is, when we were filling up before, the valve that we were controlling the pressure was inside the trailer on a fill knob. And what was happening was the whole hose had a giant amount of pressure, and the valve, I don't know, it wasn't sealing, it wasn't good. It was putting a lot of pressure on all of these seals, and then it was dripping and getting everywhere in the bathroom. So now we could control the flow at the faucet outside the trailer, and the hose would just be low flow, just filling it up, trickling in, because we have like 390s going into our tank. So I feel like this is gonna be a much better solution. And I feel like once it's in there, it's gonna look pretty snazzy. So now we're just gonna drill this out. One of the ways we're figuring this out is we kind of want it all centered up and lined up right there. So we're gonna have to go up from this hole a little bit to drill it in just perfect. Carbide hole saw. All right, so there she is. So if we want to, we can cut this off a little bit so that it sits a little bit more flush, and then we could sand it. So then that's what's gonna connect in from the backside. Yeah, it might look a little bit better if that's, looks like almost about a 1/2 inch off of there. Also this rubber washer, so on one side it's fine, but this rubber washer on this side, when I really torque it down, it kind of like bulges out from one side to the other and kind of makes the hole look offset. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna use that or not, but we'll see. All right, so we decided that it would probably look better to cut off about 1/2 inch from this. So what I usually do is just get it on here and line it up. There it goes. All right, so now we'll just clean this up on the sander, and then that should be just about right. All right, so I think that looks a lot nicer, a lot more custom. And then let's see, when we're putting on this one, we should still have plenty of room. All right, that's tight, so plenty of room. So when we put this on, we'll really tighten it down pretty good, and we'll even try to put some Loctite on it. We'll see how well that holds. Usually the Loctite's not meant for threads so big, but we'll try it out. But I think we'll put on this piece while it's off, torque it in there, and then this will be ready to be installed, but we'll have to rip apart everything that we've already built in there. So, all right, there's just no way around it. I don't want to mark this nipple up, but there's not a lot of ways to do this. I'll just be careful. All right, so that's on there. Call it good and tight. All right, so now we'll put this on. We're gonna throw some Loctite on. We're gonna throw the high strength permanent not coming off. We'll see how that goes. All right, so there is a little bit of play in the hole. I also decided to not use the O-rings. They were just too squishy. This is pretty tricky because gotta hold it from one side while tightening it from another while trying not to scratch up anything. It's more fun than it sounds. Plus, we thought that it was kind of cool if we lined up that right there, right there. All right, so that's pretty well on there. So let's go into the trailer and start taking everything else apart. Okay, so right here, we got to take off the gauge and we got to take off the old fill. And then inside the bathroom, or inside the trailer, not inside the bathroom. Let me get all the way over here. This is the back side of everything. So that gauge has to come out. So that just screws and that wire should come out. And then we got to undo all of that. So I'll probably start back here, undoing all of that. And then we'll go in there and it'll probably have to be my son in here holding the nuts as I go through. So let me just clear this out first. We're obviously redoing the vent too. Oh, that just pulled off. That was easy. So this is the part where we're going to have to put that 1/2 inch nipple in, and we're going to just have to see what we need to do when we're there. All right, so after a bit of an operation there, I was able to get that. All right, so what we're going to do now is I guess I'll be on the inside and I'll have my son over here with the crescent wrench and we'll take out this. All right, so we'll do the bottom screw first. All right, are you holding onto the nut?
No.
All right, so otherwise it's going to fall. Did it fall? No, you got it?
Yeah.
It sounded like that one fell.
No, I got it. I think the washer fell.
All right, so what we need to do now is figure out how to adapt this to that. Well, it definitely fits inside of it.
That's good.
It definitely covers up all the holes. But this is really big compared to this. So we're gonna have to figure out how to space that up. So we're gonna figure that part out, and then we'll bring you back. All right, so we went to the hardware store and we found some 1/4-20 by 1.25 inch. We think that these would add a nice aesthetic, but we gotta drill out these holes so that it would fit them. So I'm gonna do that right now. Oh yeah, a little bit hefty, a little beefy. Okay, so we're inside, ready to install, and how we're gonna make up that gap on there. Let me see if I can get you in there to even see that gap. All right. So what I did was I had more of this tubing and I cut the tubing so that it's gonna act as a spacer. And I'm putting the seam at the top because there shouldn't be any water flowing that. But once we get the clamp around this, I'm gonna really torque that thing down. So now I just need to force that in there, and I'm gonna have my son push from the other side. So keep your hand on this. Okay, push it. Keep pushing. You know what I think the issue is like this. Try to twist it as I'm going. Yeah, like that. All right, so here, how about I push it on all the way, and then you try to twist it and jerk it on.
There.
Is it on all the way?
Yeah.
All right, so how I'm gonna line it up is I'm gonna go straight to the ground and line up each one of these holes. So that's just over 40.5, and that's under. So it makes me think this has got to go that way slightly. All right, so 40.5 is at the top of the hole, and 40.5 is at the top of the hole. Okay, so now it's lined up. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do the top hole first, and then we should have a little bit of wiggle room to adjust if we need to. All right, Jamie, you ready?
Yep.
The wires are pulled away?
Yep.
All right. All right, so when I put the bolt through, you're gonna wanna put that washer and then the nut.
Yep.
See it coming?
Yeah. You want me to do it tight, or?
Let's do it until it's like really snug. All right, so now I'm gonna double check our measurements. 40.5 is at the top of the hole, and 40.5 is at a little bit under, so I'm gonna shift it this way slightly. I'm gonna split the difference. All right, I think that's pretty good. All right, that's pretty solid on there. I think we did a pretty good job cutting it too. All right, so there's what she looks like. So now I'm gonna go on the back side and we're going to tighten up those hose clamps. But so when you come in, that's where you're filling from. All right, so you can see that we used nylon locking nuts and giant fender washers. All right, so here's where we were pushing on, and now we're gonna take a hose clamp, and that's gonna clamp around both of those. So the inside one and the outside one that I did. And before we leave, we'll do some leak tests on this, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be fine, especially because the hose, I wouldn't say it's like super soft, but with all the pressure from this hose clamp, it's definitely gonna collapse down into it. Not to mention the seam I put was at the top, so just in case there was an issue, it would be at the top, but you wanna cut that as tight as possible. And just for good measure, I'll put this one back right here. All right, so last two things we have to do is drill a hole for the other gauge and then relocate the vent tube. which probably gonna go up here, something like this. All right, so now we just have to drill the hole for the gauge again. I could go right here, which is the way it was, but I kind of like right here, just kind of offset, kind of splitting the difference between the two. I kind of like the way that looks. So I'm gonna probably cut it right there. See what the distance is right there and just aim for the middle. So 3.5, right there's 4. So right around this 2 mark. Let's see, how does that look? That looks pretty good. Ha! Until it moves. All right, I think we're back to where we were. All right, we are in. We'll clean up our hole. All right, now we're gonna shove this guy in. Should be a pretty tight fit. Well, I got it in now, but now I can't spin it. Can you spin it, I guess clockwise for you? Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
It's not working too well.
All right, here, how about I come in there and then you line it up?
All right. Bit more.
Had a wire clamp that was clamping it down over there. And now we should be able to plug this back in. Yep. She's back, she's live. She's working. So we could actually clamp this wire over here. I'm not sure where I want to clamp it. Maybe I'll just clamp it back over here to keep it out of the way of this shelf, because that's going to be the most ideal. Because it's either going to be me or the kids just, you know, tired, and we're just going to be throwing stuff into this shelf. All right. So now we're going to work on this vent. The vent comes off the top of the tank right here. It might be better if it had a sharper angle. Maybe like right there. And then, because from there, if we route it straight up, we could be right in there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, is that we go straight up right there. All right, so we're gonna use those cable zip ties, and I'm probably gonna go like right here, go all the way up. I'll probably put them down first and then put them in. I don't know that I'm gonna need one right there on that wood, so we'll focus on them on the beam. All right, so I'll tie wrap those in first. All right, and obviously we'll cut those off. And then now that's gonna go straight up, but the thing I'm most excited about, yes, this is a very overkill vent. This is a sump pump or something that you have for your pond or your lake. But on Amazon, this was pretty cheap. So I was like, yeah, I'll just take that. So let's see how well that's gonna fit in there. I think I'm gonna have to undo that clamp first. But yeah, that's crazy overkill, but I wanted to make sure that we didn't have like a bunch of bugs and stuff getting into our water. All right, it's on all the way. Realistically, this does not need a hose clamp. So I'll just unscrew that and take it off because it's kind of redundant on there. That thing is very tight. But in our last trip to Colorado, the way I had this water splashed up into it and created a water trap. So that's the other reason for this redesign. All right, so that's just gonna cut off the ends of those, but other than that, that is a upgrade to the whole water system. This can slide underneath the shelf. New vent. So from the upcoming road trip, we'll have plenty of show and tell on this. We'll definitely be pushing this and showing it filling up and draining out. But I think that this is a much better system than having the hose come down around there or a big loop down here. Definitely shouldn't be a water trap this high above the tank. And then theoretically, I guess it'll overflow out that before it overflows out here. But yeah, so thanks for watching. If you think we did anything wrong here, let us know in the comments. But if you're liking this content, please subscribe to the channel and give us a big thumbs up.